To use most of the Olympus cameras found on the Olympus BX microscopes, we will use the Cellsens standard software. The first time that you open this software, you will need to accept the user license agreement, and in most cases you will also have to select the type of user. In most cases you will select the power user. In this case we will not see that screen. But once we get in here, we do not want to select the simple layout. We would like to have full control. And we'll disable automatic checks. Once in the software, if different layouts are available, we can manage layouts and select a layout that is appropriate for the camera that is on the microscope. What's nice about this is now if any of our windows are lost, or if anything is not where it's supposed to be, if we go up to layout and we reset that current layout, everything will go back to where it was. This allows continuity between systems and between users, so even if someone else changes something, your system will go right back to where it was supposed to be. All of these things here in the center for configure system are where we tell it what camera you have, what objectives are on the system, and also what calibrations you want. We leave this open so that you have the ability to change your calibrations as needed. Typically, however, we ask that you contact us to have your calibrations redone. Once in the software, you should see the objectives that are on the microscope. In this case, we have a manual microscope, so when we click these different buttons to select the objective, it does change the white balance and flat field correction for the objective. However, it doesn't actually move the objective, so we need to be very careful to move the objective in concert with the button that we have selected up here at the top. These buttons are duplicated down here just for simply ease of use. Next, we will start the camera by going to the live button. Once we have a live image on our screen, we will first make sure that we have the correct objective selected. We will select automatic exposure time. With automatic exposure time, typically I like to take that automatic exposure time over the full image. We can choose smaller regions if desired. However, that overlay on the image is sometimes distracting. So I like a full image. I also like auto contrast. Auto contrast gives us that textbook pop that we're used to in images. What this does is it makes sure that we have 0.1% of our pixels are completely dark, and it chooses our bottom bound, and 0.1% of our pixels are completely white, and chooses our top bound. So if we were to change these numbers, it would make our images lighter or darker. One of the things that it also does is as we move the image outside of our field of view, is it shows us what our background looks like. And you can see our background here is pretty clear, except for maybe some dust. You'll see that when we do have a live image, we do have our scale bar that is on top of our image. This can be taken on and off of our image using View Scale Bar. I do recommend to keep it on. Also, there's the opportunity to have an info stamp that gives us some sort of information about our image. Both of these can be modified under Tools, Options. This gives us the option of changing the scale bar. We can change the format. We can change the size of the font. We can also, with our info stamp, change again the size of the font, the placement, and also what is actually given here. So right now you'll notice we're on our 10x objective, but it gives us a magnification of 5x. That's because we're using a half-x camera adapter. What we can also do is actually simply show the actual objective magnification. And so now it gives us kind of a more proper reading. This information can be turned on and off again in the View tab. Once we're ready to take our image, simply click on Snapshot. For each image that we take, we will get a new tab, and our live will come back up. This will allow us to move to a new location. Again, get in focus. And snap again. We can take many images this way. Once we turn off the live camera, you'll notice that that tab does go away. Each image will come out with a generic name and a star. That star denotes that that image is not yet saved. We can change that generic name in the acquisition settings under document name. We can change that away from being an image and a number. You can actually change it into a number of different options. So if you want to have things like the time or who's logged in, also you can have notes. Any of those types of things can be used for that generic name. However, what's important is that it's not yet saved. To save the image, we're going to go to Save or Save As. And traditionally, we've always saved as TIFF images. However, in this case, what we're actually going to save is as JPEGs. JPEGs traditionally have been compressed using a compression, but we're going to choose lossless. By choosing that lossless JPEG, the image is going to look exactly like what we're seeing now on our screen. So if I go ahead now and save, and I'm going to go ahead and save this to the desktop just so we can pull it up. We're going to say do not show this again because that's actually an incorrect question now. We'll see that that image that we've just saved looks just like the one that we saw on our screen previously. Notice that we do have the scale bar. We do have our auto contrast. Really a nice image without a lot of effort.